develop a hybrid race or species rather. So that's something that people ought to talk about. So,
right.
You don't have to go beating people up and taking these things involuntarily if there are people who may be willing to cooperate. Now that's a program that would have to be very carefully studied from the point of view of human rights and dignity, and we're going to have to come to grips with the fact that there's going to be a good deal of kind of not just racism but speciesism.
It'll be new speciesism.
Yeah, people are going to be upset about the whole idea of crossbreeding with an extraterrestrial civilization. Not so much the people that are potentially from the Pleiades that look just like us, 99% are just like us. But when you're talking about interbreeding with reptilians or insectoids or the tall and short grays, people are going to get really antsy about that. And that's not, I've got to be clear, it's not just antsy about that. People are going to be totally traumatized by that. And so we have to have intelligent, careful, thoughtful discussions about all of this. That's another job of the New Paradigm Institute, is to slow everybody down, to calm down about these things. Let's have careful, thoughtful discussions about all of this and try to figure out principles and policies that we want to have implemented with regard to our relationship with the extraterrestrials of all the different species. But that's not happening right now, because you have an element in the national security state that just flat out says, no, there's no such thing. It's just all untrue. It's just a big fat lie, and the bottom line is we have to get past that. And that's the stage that we're at right now. We're in the process of crossing that line to get all of our major institutions to become honest about this and acknowledge that this is going on, so that we can get our people to move into this kind of serious discussion about the profound philosophical, theological, sociological, psychological issues that need to get resolved. And we're working on that at the Institute. We have over 35 major academics now, professors at major universities and all kinds of different people that are working with us.
I did want to talk about that. So you're offering, are these courses accredited?
Yes, that's a separate thing. The offering of actual accredited courses, that's a separate thing. We're offering accredited courses in a master's degree program and a PhD program in extraterrestrial studies. But in addition to that, we have the actual 35, or we'll have more than that eventually, people who are professional academics, who are, for example, this is being coordinated. The 35 people that are professors at various universities across the country are being coordinated by a professor in the philosophy department at Ohio State University. We're coordinating them to write white papers, to do analysis of all of these things for us and with us. And a number of these people are going to be teaching courses through our New Paradigm Institute that are going to be addressing a lot of these things. And it's because the government isn't doing it. We'd be delighted to have the government and the universities working together on this, but they're not. The major institutions at the universities are still under the influence of a 70-year-long propaganda campaign that's been waged secretly by the Defense Department and the Central Intelligence Agency to deter anyone from taking the subject seriously. And so we're in the process of trying to overcome that with individual faculty members who are willing to come forward and teach these courses, and they will. But they're also working at trying to persuade their faculty and their administrations at these universities to allow courses to begin. Now that we've come to realize that there's an extraterrestrial civilization, that we've got to come to grips with the details about this. So we're hoping that the official institutions are going to move into doing their work, but we can't sit and wait for them. We have to have an institute such as the New Paradigm Institute that people can contact by simply newparadigminstitute.org. Simple as that. newparadigminstitute.org, and come to our website. We're building a major website that's going to be able to interact with all 435 congressional districts. That we're going to be able to work with them and go back and forth and give them the information that they need to have in order to share their information with their local newspapers, their local cable television stations, go to their local Kiwanis clubs and their American Legion clubs and talk about this. We've got to do this. We've got to have this be a common conversation that our people have to be comfortable engaging in, so that over the next next 6 to 10 year period, we're going to go through this process of integrating all of this information into our human culture, and that we need to get the institutions involved in this but otherwise the citizens are going to have to do this ourselves. We cannot wait around for them to do this.
Well, we have about 10 minutes left, or a little less than 10 minutes left. Yeah. So with that exact notion is a good segue. How do you see the relationship between the scientific community and UFO research evolving? Are there particular areas where you think collaboration and just openness could be improved?
Oh, yeah. It's just that we have to get past this thing. I know that the university professors have spent an awful lot of time organizing to get permission to privately patent technologies that they develop, even with government grants, going to the universities to do research in particular areas, and that the university professors have secured the right to secure patents, privately owned patents on certain technologies that they develop. We have to deal with that. I don't think that's a good idea, as I pointed out. But I think people in the scientific community have been closed out of this whole thing. The vast majority of the leading experts of the world in all of these areas that are so important to do an analysis of this stuff have been shut out of this whole program. You have people that are just like mechanical engineers that are being brought in to look at these craft and try to figure out how their technology works, so they can try to duplicate the propulsion systems or to utilize them for propelling nuclear missiles, at light speed into other people's countries. But you don't have the philosophers, you don't have the theologians, you don't have the social psychiatrists, you don't have the economists, the economics people. You don't have any of these experts yet applying their skills and trying to address the issues that need to get done. So what we're doing is we're recruiting them into the New Paradigm Institute to work with us and ideally be able to persuade the government institutions to start taking in this information and then taking over the process, so that we have a government-run but privately overseen and regulated process by means of which we integrate all of this information into the various institutional realms of our human family. That's what's going on right now.
Right. So some final thoughts. Looking back at your career, including your work on Watergate, the UFO phenomena, and all related phenomena, what do you consider to be the most significant contributions to public knowledge and government accountability?
Well, that we've well, first of all, I think that the securing of the right of investigative journalists to protect their confidential news sources was an extraordinarily important step, because then you can get insiders to come forward and share the information with journalists who can responsibly convey this information to the people and exercise independent judgment from the national security state people over what information needs to be shared with people. I think that was extremely important. I think that the stopping of the secret shipping of nuclear weapons material by the United States Central Intelligence Agency to different fascist countries around the world, South Africa, to Iran under the Shah, and also to some other countries like Israel. That effort that we did to stop the smuggling of the 98% pure bomb-grade plutonium that was in the one reprocessing plant in the world for spent nuclear materials was an important step that we took. I think that our revealing to people the fact that the Central Intelligence Agency and the Joint Special Operations Command of the United States Pentagon was openly defying the Congress when Congress prohibited them from providing weapons to the right-wing, fascist government of Anastasio Somoza in exile, to try to overthrow the elected government eventually of the Sandinistas in Nicaragua was an important revelation. But all of that pales in the face of what it is that we're doing now. Right. All of those activities that were basic training for us to be able to effectively do what we're doing right now is to try to usher in an entire new era for our entire human family of realizing that we are part of a galactic civilization and that moving to preserve our integrity as a species, moving to protect some of the most fundamental values of human rights and individual liberties that are extraordinarily important to all of us in the face of a galactic civilization that may not at this point place a high enough value on those aspects of individual liberty. These are things that we have to be able to do. And to the extent to which our government is declining to do those things at the present time, our other governments around the world, we need to do this as private citizens. And that's why we've established the New Paradigm Institute as a place for everybody to come together. People like Stephen Greer, people like Lou Elizondo, people like Dr. John Mack, other people that normally don't agree with each other. To the point where now we have Matt Gaetz sitting down with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and totally agreeing that they are demanding together that Congress be briefed in on this. And we have the House and the Senate that don't always see eye to eye, especially when they're under the control of different political parties. Now we have them cooperating together. So what we're doing, we're trying to establish a paradigm pursuant to which people that are normally in disagreement with each other can come to an agreement around this extraordinary moment where we are encountering an extraterrestrial civilization, and to figure out how we can at the same time establish a positive and constructive and mutually beneficial relationship with this civilization, but at the same time preserve the unique rights that we think we have as human beings, even if we may not be as technologically developed as they are, even if we may not be as intelligent as they are, even if we may not be as spiritually evolved as they are, that we still have a right to make our own decisions. We have a right to govern our own planet. But we have to be also cognizant of the fact we cannot take steps that will destroy the life-generating capacity of our own planet. We can't do that. And that's why they're displaying such interest and concern about our nuclear weapons program. It's totally clear.
I was going to ask you that earlier. There's clearly a relationship between the nuclear capabilities of human beings and the UFO phenomena and their occupants. The cases like the Robert Salas case, and I believe it was Maelstrom.
That's right.
And then
Maelstrom, Air Force Base.
Yeah, even the guy that saved the Russian operator who basically thwarted what would be World War III and the destruction of everything by not pulling the trigger. There's clearly like with AI and everything that's developing, there is an ongoing fear of such thing as a false flag operation. And it really does worry me. And hopefully in our next conversation, we can maybe talk and expand upon that further. But
let's not jump over that one. Let's not jump over that one. That we can go until another 5 minutes. Look, the false flag operation stuff